I'm going to teach you how to play Magic the Gathering, and I'm going to do it using Rupaul's Drag Race. Stick around. So if you're like me, you like playing board games, but you hate reading rules, especially when they're long and extensive and you just want to play the game. So I'm going to give you just the basics of what you need to get started and play your first game of Magic the Gathering, because if you're like me, we learn by playing. And trust me, I know you've heard this game is complicated, but you're a Drag Race fan. You can remember all these queens' names and who lip-synced what song to what episode. What challenge did they go home on? What did they wear? Who made that runway? I know you can. I know you watched Jack Fed. I know you watched Green Gay. I know you watched Runner Eye, and you have all this stuff memorized. I promise you. ADHD right here, you got this, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go. Super basics before we get started into our turn order. There are two types of cards in Magic the Gathering. We have land cards, which are going to produce mana to cast our other cards, which are spell cards. Spell cards is everything in this game that is not a land card. You got it? Keeping up? I know you are. There are 5 main colors in Magic. We have white, blue, black, red, green. Each land produces 1 mana of that color. 1 mana to spend towards the spell of your choice. Lands, spells. Got it? Okay, let's take a deeper dive at this card and take a look at it. When looking at a card, you'll want to look at the upper left corner to see the name of that card. On the upper right, you're going to see the mana cost, what it costs to play that card. Now, we've covered this. Lands create mana. Upper right corner of the spells tell you how much mana that costs. Then you'll get the image, a lot of pretty artwork. Love artwork. It's my favorite part of Magic the Gathering. Below that, you're going to see the type of card it is. In this case, Cloud, ex-soldier, is a legendary creature, human soldier mercenary. Do not worry about this type yet. We are going to break this down as soon as we get into turn order. Below that, you're going to see the rules. What can this card do? Sometimes it's simple, sometimes it's a lot of words. When you read this, you're like, haste. What is haste? Do not worry about that. We will cover that down the line. You will learn. We're trying to get you to play here. Past the rules, if this is a creature, something that can attack or block, you are going to see a number in the bottom right corner. In this case, the number on the left is its strength, and the number on the right is its toughness, or its health, if you'd rather. Lands, go into spells. Got it? I know you do. So now let's get into turn order so you can figure out when you can do these things and what happens on that turn. The turn is broken down into 5 phases. I'm going to name them here, and then we're going to bring Drag Race in to kind of get it into your brains. So the 5 phases of Magic the Gathering turn are the beginning phase, the main phase, the combat phase, the second main phase, and the end phase. Now, different things can happen at each of these phases during the turn, but to help you lock this order in and what's going on, I want to bring in Rupaul's Drag Race. So a typical episode of Drag Race begins with the queens entering the workroom. This phase where you come in, you de-drag, you talk about how crazy last episode was, we're going to call that the beginning phase. So I want you to think of that. That's entering the workroom. The next part of a Drag Race episode is we're in the workroom, we're getting ready for the new day, we might have a mini challenge, we might have a walkthrough with RuPaul in the workroom, we're going to announce what the main challenge of the episode is. That is all the main phase. That takes us into the actual main challenge itself. Think Snatch Game or the Rusical. Now, for our purposes here, Snatch Game is going to be our combat phase. Once you're done with the challenge of the episode, we go back to the workroom. We have drama in the workroom, whatever it is. We have our Untucked. We're going to call that our second main phase. And finally, in an episode of Drag Race, we have our lip sync and our elimination. That will be our end phase for Magic the Gathering. So I want you to think about it broken down like a Drag Race episode. Entering the workroom, drama, main challenge, post-challenge workroom, and lip sync and elimination. And that's how we're going to play a turn of Magic the Gathering. Now let's take a look at what type of cards we have and what we do when. Lands, spells. Now let's take a look at types of spells so we can teach you when you can play these specific cards. There are 5 main card types that I want you to keep an eye out for because they are the most prevalent in most games of Magic the Gatherings and the ones you are most likely to see in any game that you play. Now for card type, remember Cloud was a legendary creature. I want you to take a look here right underneath the art. So those 5 card types are a creature, an enchantment, an artifact, a sorcery, and an instant. Now sped up, a normal turn in Magic the Gathering might look like this. It's my turn, so I untap, I flip all my cards face up, I draw a card, I look at my hand, I'm going to play a land for turn, and then I'm going to tap these lands, which is, I mentioned, you can produce mana. We do that by tapping. I'm going to tap a certain amount of lands for mana to play a card. On my turn, then, I go into combat. I'm going to swing at one of my opponents with my cards. I do whatever else I need to do, whether the attack hits or not. That's the end of my turn. Cool. I pass on to the next player. Now let's break down in steps when everything I just did happens. So let's say I'm several turns into a game. I've done a lot already, and it is now going to be my turn again. All my cards are tapped, and what that means is I have turned them sideways, because in order to have a card do a thing, we tap them, and we do that by turning an upright card sideways. We have tapped it. Now we've gone through this already. You know this. Lands, spells. Lands create mana, mana to cast the spells. In order to tap and get the mana, we have our lands here. 1, 2, 3, 4, however many you tap, I'm creating with a basic land. 1 red mana, 2 red mana, 3 red mana, 4 red mana, 5 red mana, 1 white mana. At some point, I have used that. So now it's my turn, and these lands are tapped because they've already been used. A creature taps when they attack another player. So these are also turned to the side. If there's anything on the board that needs to do something on the board, you tap it to do it. This is important because at the beginning of my turn, the main entrance phase, which as you recall, is when the queens are re-entering the workroom, we do what's called untap, upkeep, and draw. So at the beginning of my turn, we're going to ready everything, right? The wigs come off. We talk about what a crazy challenge that was. Got to get ready for the day. Okay, here we go. Everything is ready to go again. We have untapped. We've upkept our board. Some cards will let us do things at this point, but for the most part, not a lot is happening here. Maybe you'll get some drama, but we're really just settling in, getting things ready. So I've untapped everything, and I'm going to draw a card. Awesome. So now we're going to enter the main workroom phase, the main phase of the game. Now I want you to imagine, when you're thinking about this drag race metaphor, the workroom is where you have access to everything that you brought with you. You're a competitor on Drag Race, your wigs, your clothes, any props you have, the jokes you have, ready for the reading challenge, everything that you brought with you is accessible to you in the main phase. Now I mentioned 5 different types of cards: creatures, artifacts, enchantments, sorceries, instant. When we're in the workroom, you have your hand on you. You can use whatever you want at this point. So let's say I'm going to look at my hand, and I'm going to play. I know I can play 1 land per turn. I'm in the workroom. I can play it right now. But remember, we're going to be back in the workroom after the main challenge. So my land that I'm going to play, I can play it right now while I'm in the workroom, or I can go do Snatch Game and then play it later. You may have your own reasons for doing it. Just know you're going to have 2 chances for that. For now, I'm going to say I play a land because I'm in the workroom. I'm in my main phase. Awesome. What else do I want to do before Snatch Game and I'm getting ready? Well, you know what? I have to decide on a character. So let me just play some stuff and set it up. Well, I know I have a creature here that I showed you earlier, and it costs 4 regular mana of any kind. When you see a number in that circle there, that means any colored mana will do, and 2 red. So this is a 6 mana card. This is a big boy. Fortunately, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 mana, plenty of it red. So I'm going to tap at least 2 reds, 2 more reds for 4, and then I'm going to tap both those whites. So I have 6 mana that I tapped. I have 6 mana I can use. Guess what costs 6 mana? We've got a creature on the board. Fantastic, he's joining my other creatures. All right, I can do that on standard. If I wanted to do anything else, I could, but I only have 1 mana left, and I don't have anything in my hand that costs 1 mana. So we're going to move on to the main challenge, to the combat phase. Now, in the combat phase, I have left the workroom. So I want you to imagine it that most of this stuff is back at the workroom. The cameras are rolling. It's challenge time. I've got to get going. I have what I brought with me. I cannot cast creatures on my combat phase. I cannot cast artifacts on my combat phase. No enchantments, no sorceries. I am stuck with what I have on my board. There is one exception to this rule, and that is our handy dandy instants. Now, instants, as their name implies, are special because they don't care where you are. Think about this. If you were a drag queen, this is a quick character swap on Drag Race. We've changed our wig. Whatever tricks you want to suddenly pull out, you got this in your back pocket. You don't got this. This is back in the workroom. You can't access any of this on the combat phase. But instants, you can. The other important thing about instants, anytime. This is not just on my turn. I can use this on anyone else's turns, and in reverse, anyone else can use an instant on my turn. When? almost any time. Anytime I say I'm going to do something during my turn, I play a land, I play a creature, I play an artifact, I'm going to attack you, you're going to block me, we're going to do damage. Whenever a statement is said, this is going to happen, an instant card can be played. This is why it's important to denote the 5 different card types I was showing you earlier, because most cards, especially on the combat phase, cannot be played. But instant, you can play that anytime you want. Okay, so we're going to go into our combat phase. We're in the main challenge. What do you want to do here? I'm not going to use this instant, and someone else might use something on me. Nothing I can do about that. We'll find out. I'm going to say, tap these 2 creatures that I already had on the board, and I'm going to swing them at my enemies. Now, this fun guy that I just put down, you saw me put down the dragon, they come in whenever my creatures get summoned. We'll call them summoning sickness. They're a little tired. They just came back to the competition. They're not ready to start swinging yet, okay? A creature has to be on your board already for 1 turn, then they can attack. We call that summoning sickness. They're a little tired, okay, y'all? So once they're on the board, they can still block. They'll still be very helpful, right? If someone attacks me on their turn, my big boy here, he can block, but he can't attack on the first turn. So these 2 are going to attack. That's going to resolve. Cool, the main challenge is over. We're going to move back into the workroom for our second main phase. Remember, we're back in the workroom. I get my hand back. I can do whatever I want, so long as I can afford it. Now, our big boy here that I've got on the board, he cost me 6 mana. I already played 1 land per turn. That's all I get. So I have 1 red mana left. Can I do anything? No, I cannot. I can't play any cards. I don't have anything that costs 1 mana. So I guess it's time to have a nice little sob story. Hope I did well in the challenge, and hope I don't get eliminated as we go into our end phase. So in the end phase, we've done our runway. It's time to find out, lip sync for your life, did I make it? Here, I can no longer play. I'm on the runway. I don't have access to my cards anymore unless it's an instant. But again, I have 1 mana left to play with, and I have nothing that costs that. So we're going to find out before we go to the next person's turn. Does anyone else have an instant they want to play? Anything they want to throw at me? Any read they want to give at me as I'm entering this lip sync? No? Okay, we're good to go. Then that is my turn. And that is how you play Magic the Gathering. I cannot stress enough. Lands, spells, turn order, that's all you need to know. Now, there are so many things, and I'll make a lot of videos for you all. If you want to learn more, we can dive deep. What did haste means? What can creatures do and interact with each other? What do you do with the other players? What is attacking and what is life? We can get into all of that, but I know you all have friends, and that's why you're watching this video, that want you to play Magic the Gathering. People will help you. These are the tools that you need to show up and say, I know how to play a turn of Magic the Gathering. You will mess up. That's okay. I mess up all the time still. But this is all you need to be able to enjoy one of the most fun games I've ever played in my life. And I cannot stress enough, y'all, this art is so pretty. This art is half of why I played this game. It is so much fun, and I hope this has been helpful to you. I'll be making a lot more videos on Magic the Gathering this month and teaching you how to play. We'll get into much more excruciating detail on how to play the rules, but I wanted to make sure you had the tools to just get started and play a game. Go out, go forth, find your Drag Race friends, and play some Magic the Gathering.